Yesterday, I started telling you about how going from good to great requires an operating model flip. It requires you to take a bunch of things that totally worked to get you from bad to good, things that were your greatest allies and your most reliable rules and habits, and flip them upside down and start doing the exact opposite. It's very confusing unless you know what's going on. And I also told you about the first thought that you have to flip. Thought number one, I need to win all the time. Thought flip number one, even when I give my all, I expect to fail a good portion of the time. That is a normal feature of going after expert level pursuits. You can read all about that in yesterday's article, which I've linked above. Today, let's talk about the second thought that you have to flip in order to go from good to great. Thought number two, I should think about my mistakes. When you're going from bad to good, you're learning the foundational skills in your field, and you're learning how to learn from your mistakes. You're learning to not ignore mistakes or make excuses or sweep them under the rug. You're learning how to take full ownership of your results no matter what. And you're learning how to assess what happened and what you need to change with discipline and commitment every single time you get a bad result. On the other hand, when you're going from good to great, you've already built the habit of radical ownership of your own results. You've already built the muscle of constant assessment and improvement. And now you have a different challenge in front of you. Now you need to prevent those muscles from being overpowered and accidentally hurting you. You've corrected for underdosing on those habits, and now you need to make sure that you don't overdose on those habits. Underdosing on ownership is bad. It leads you to make excuses, blame everybody else, and not take accountability for the changes that you need to make. But overdosing on ownership is also bad. An overdose of ownership calcifies into fragility. You start taking responsibility for things that are truly out of your control. You start putting unreasonable burdens of responsibility on your own back. And you start thinking that heroic individualism should be able to overcome any structural, systemic, or societal headwind. Every failure unleashes an internal barrage of self-criticism, and at the same time, you're also going after expert level pursuits, which have way lower success rates to begin with. An overdose of ownership combined with the high failure rate of expert level pursuits will lead to a breakdown at some point unless you adjust your dosage levels. In the same way, underdosing on self-assessment is bad. It leads you to make the same mistakes again and again and stay stuck for too long at the same level of performance. But overdosing on self-assessment is also bad. An overdose of self-assessment disrupts your focus in the moment. I've written before about how presence is what makes or breaks you, not just preparation. I've linked that article above. The constant chatter of self-assessment disrupts your presence. It's like trying to have a conversation while a siren is blaring in your ear. I'm going to quote again from Roger Federer's excellent Dartmouth commencement speech. He said, "When you lose every second point on average, you learn not to dwell on every shot. You teach yourself to think, okay, I double faulted. It's only a point. Okay, I came to the net and I got past again. It's only a point. Even a great shot with an overhead backhand smash that ends up on ESPN's top 10 plays, that too is just a point." Here's why I'm telling you this. When you're playing a point, it's the most important thing in the world. But when it's behind you, it's behind you. This mindset is really crucial because it frees you to fully commit to the next point and the next one after that with intensity, clarity, and focus. Because expert level pursuits have high failure rates, you need to play a lot of points in order to get the results that you want. And you need to play each one of those points with intensity, clarity, and focus. And you can't do that when your dosage level of self-assessment is too high and the chatter in your mind is constantly distracting you. This is why, as deeply unintuitive as it sounds, the second thought flip that you need to make in order to go from good to great is, if I make a mistake, I should let it go. You have 5 meetings today and meeting number 2 goes really badly, let it go. It's only a point, full forward focus onto the next meeting. Let's say you've been working for months on a huge transaction, and at the last minute, a new issue pops up and almost derails the entire deal. Let it go. You didn't miss anything. You didn't screw this up. No, I should have seen this coming. Full forward focus on what you need to do in order to resolve it. Or let's say you were planning to eat healthy today until you saw the free donuts in the office, and before you know it, you've eaten 2 donuts. Let it go. It's a momentary blip. You don't have to wait till tomorrow to course correct. Full forward focus on the rest of the meals in the day. If you have gone from bad to good, you are no longer in danger of underdosing on ownership or self-assessment. You're not going to blame others and fail to take accountability. You're not going to fail to spot your improvement areas and start mysteriously staying stuck at the same level of performance. You are now taking ownership and making constant improvements automatically. Your habits in those areas are 100% on lock. You can't turn it off even if you try. You are now in danger of overdosing on ownership and self-assessment, of over blaming yourself for things that are outside your control, and over beating yourself up about what you need to improve, and burning out and staying stuck as a result. So make this thought flip and watch as you achieve the ultimate win-win of feeling better and getting better results. And by the way, that's the goal we're always aiming for around here. We're not feeling better and letting performance suffer. And we're also not getting better results, but suffering personally in the process. We are doing both. And when you find yourself in a spot in your life where your feelings or your results are suffering, there's a simple way to figure out why that's happening and what you need to adjust to get back into flow. That is the baseline toolkit that I teach all my clients. And it's the skill I help them practice and gain mastery over during our 3 months of coaching together. It all happens inside my course and coaching program, Less Stress, More Flow. You can learn all about how the program works at the link above, and I want you to book a free consult call with me. We'll talk about what you want to work on in coaching, how I can help, and which package might be the best fit for you. The link to book a free call is above.